Welcome back to Defining Moments. I'm Suzanne Quast, and my guest today is lifestyle and fitness expert Christine Bullock. Christine's been featured in publications ranging from Shape Magazine, Women's Health, Glamour, Pop Sugar, and The Today Show. She is also co-founder of Kayo Better Body Care and of the fitness programs Evolution 20, Super Shred, and 10-Minute Solutions. Today, we're going to talk about how Christine created her brand. We're going to talk about body image, and we're going to hear some of her top fitness tips. Here are her moments. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Suzanne. I'm so happy to be here with you.
So growing up, you were a dancer, right?
Yes.
What kind of dance and for how long did you do it?
I was a ballerina. I begged my mom to put me in ballet when I was like 3, and that was it for me. I know some people love the, character and the tap, and you either love ballet or you don't. But I started dancing 3 to 5 days a week when I was little, and then 5 to like 7 days a week when I was a little bit older. All my summer camps were ballet. And I had done a couple other sports finally when I was in junior high just to kind of fit in with my actual friends there because I was always gone. But I love dance. And honestly, it was the only career that I ever thought I would have. And once I was out of high school, I was dancing for a year, went to massage therapy school, thinking that I'd be a starving artist, and then realized I hated starving. So I went to college. But it's still in my blood. I still go back to dance and ballet, all kinds of dance now. And I think it's the one thing that makes me feel like myself. It's creative and sets aside the world.
Do you still practice ballet?
Yes.
I am not a dancer. I did jazz in grade school and maybe tap, but it wasn't my thing. Not good at it.
Yes. I like hip hop and more creative movement now, but I still love ballet. I don't put the leotard on any longer, but I still love going back. And honestly, I love the discipline of it, and the posture just makes me feel really great, and the lengthening of everything.
So being a dancer and then being in the spotlight for fitness, did you ever suffer with body image issues? And if so, how were you able to overcome that?
Yeah, I think it's a huge thing. Growing up in ballet, there's definitely body image issues. And
I imagine Black Swan.
There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes in ballet. And I was lucky enough that I never went through that, but I saw the pressures. I was always slender, but I was more muscular than the other girls. And so I had this, I was the jumper, and I had this little lean body where other girls would just have their long, lean, swan legs up in the air. So I noticed it, and then going into fitness and being in the public eye for fitness, being on the cover of magazines, and when I really fell into the modeling world and had that pressure, I was very lean at that point, and that was natural. I was just naturally lean. But I wouldn't say it was necessarily my most healthy stage of my life. I was run down, and I was lower energy, and that just happened to me naturally through the fitness programs that I was doing as well. I was burning a lot of calories. And so then I ended up gaining more weight, which I felt better, and I focused on doing that, in a healthy way. But then I also had the pressures for a little bit of looking back and being like, do they want to see that ripped 8-pack? Am I going to have feedback on that? But in the long run, I learned that I was more happy with myself, being healthy, having energy, being in a good mood, than I cared what people thought of me, whether I had an 8-pack or didn't.
Amen to that. I know for me, I definitely suffered with body dysmorphia. And, for those people who don't know, it's where you have an obsessive thought pattern around a part of your body or all of your body, and you find it flawed. And so, people would look at me and be like, oh, you're skinny. But I don't know, there was parts of my body that I didn't like. And then that morphed into, I had issues with food, and I became obsessive with it. And I realized of those, food and fitness that sometimes can be an addiction. So I had to realize what is the root of this? Why am I numbing out in order to not deal with whatever pain I had.
Yeah, and I think, a couple things. One, it's very hard with social media right now. We see bodies so much more than we have ever in the past, and it makes you very much aware of what your body looks like. There's also photo editing that goes on, like 99% of the time. And so once again, we're more aware of what we look like. And then there's also, I forget what the medical term is, but I just heard of it, where in being too healthy has now become this disorder where we're constantly thinking of, is this healthy enough? Is this almond milk? Is this vegan burrito? And we're thinking about too much of like, what am I getting? Which is still not healthy because you're stressing yourself out.
Yeah.
So I think it's I can't say there was one, I had to work purposely to say, you know what, I am really happy with where my body is at. And it was when it was at its worst. I went through 5 years of fertility, so I was pumped through hormones for 5 years. Having gone off birth control in order to, try and conceive a child. We found out later I had a hormonal issue called PCOS. It also, it basically turns all your food into fat immediately instead of creating energy, which you can gain weight very easily. So my body just kind of did all of these different things where not only did I gain weight, but I had like fat patches in different areas where I had never seen them. It was weird hormonal weight gain. I had cellulite everywhere and where I had not had that in the past. And that's the moment where I had just to be like, I'm very comfortable with who I am.
Great.
This body tells a story. Yeah.
And then kind of shifting gears but I'm sure there's people out there who are trainers themselves, or maybe they're even in a different space, like they're a blogger, and they want to know how to take their career to the next step and create a brand. How are you able to take your love of fitness and being a trainer and turn it into this brand to become one of the top people in the fitness industry?
You're so sweet. I think that it's about knowing who you are, and that's your brand. Because when you are marketing yourself, you have to know who you are inside and out in order to understand the full concept of what you're pitching to people, basically. And again, be passionate about that. It's not making up something so that it's different from this trainer. We each have these individual things to provide people. So I knew that I wanted to take the expertise that's in Los Angeles and all the tips and the tricks that I learned here. And I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And so I wanted to, that was my clientele. It wasn't teaching the celebrities in Los Angeles. It was teaching everybody else how to get fit easily, quickly, efficiently. Health shouldn't be a main priority. It should just be it shouldn't have so much thought to it. It should be easy to fit into your life. And so that was always the purpose of the 20-minute fitness programs, being super effective, again, in the sense of nutrition. It's not really complicated. There's not one diet. And so in knowing your branding, you always know what you want to share with people.
And then knowing your demographics. So like you said, those are my people. So then how I speak to them might be different than how I talk to, I don't know, the celebrity, client.
Yeah. Although I think too, like even them, like it's just common sense is not so common. My understanding and my theory on fitness and nutrition is that it's common sense about what is going to keep you healthy, and it's what's happened over hundreds and hundreds of years. It just consistently worked.
Yeah. And then how did you differentiate yourself in such a competitive landscape? Because I hate when people say it's saturated. That just means there's more of us, and that's a healthy competition.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that there's so many, that there are going to be people drawn more to you.
Yeah, it's, I've always thought in the sense of competition that everybody has something to offer. We were all created individually, and as close as something may be, right, your consumer's going to get what they want out of it. And I've always thought of it as the grassroots effort. If I just reach one person and then they reach their family, and you know what I mean, it continues to grow. So my mission was really first like just communicating with that one person in front of me. I think in growing, I was a bit lucky where when I was training, I fell into fitness modeling. I got my one job, which was P90X packaging, and then it turned into Insanity packaging and a bunch of magazines and all that kind of stuff. So I was lucky in that sense where that helped to build. But I created my fitness programs. I produced them, paid for onset of the fashion to the hair and the makeup and to renting. So I worked hard to create the back end of everything I wanted to. I reached out to the magazines to write for them. I reached out to early on, like the fitness companies, to work with them as well in the sense of writing for their blogs. I would shoot my own content for them, like Lorna Jane, Well and Good, Fit Fab Fun. When they first came, I was like their first fitness person on there. I just found things and I was like, let me share with you. I'll create the content. So I've really gone out and made things happen for me.
See, but I love to hear that because I think so oftentimes like people sit back and they wait for the opportunities, but you're saying that you actually went out and sought them out yourself.
And I wanted the control over that too. So there were some opportunities that had come up for really big fitness companies, and I didn't want someone to control what I had to say to the world as much. So maybe it would have gotten in front of people a lot faster than like Evolution 20 did. But I appreciate, I'm a control freak, I guess. But I liked creating it I loved being able to do every part of it.
Speaking of Evolution 20, I love that your fitness programs are most of the time shorter in time, right? They're like 10 to 30 minutes. But the old me would have been crazy about that because I'm like, I have to run 5 to 7 miles in order to get a good workout. Now I know that's not the case. But how, and to somebody out there, why is 20 minutes enough? Does it lead to weight loss, and is it effective, and how?
It's a great question. And you know what? I've been there too. I think being a fitness trainer, we're constantly working out whether we're trying to or not. When we have our clients, we're demonstrating. So there's constant movement and you're burning calories, or you're teaching a class and you're out there, even if you're just standing, you're burning calories. So I think sometimes it's unfair for fitness trainers to be like, it's super easy to look this way. They're up all day. Now I'm a CEO, I'm a mom, I'm sitting all the time, I'm carrying her. And literally I'm sitting for at least 8 hours a day, at least, probably more than that.
That's a lot.
And I don't have time to work out. And so I can have proof that 20 minutes, I have 20 to 30 minutes in the morning before my child wakes up to work out. And I feel like I'm in better shape right now. I'm in shape again like I was right around where I started creating Evolution 20, when I was teaching constantly, just following the effectiveness of the exercises in a workout. So to answer your question, yes, it depends on the exercises and the way you're working out. If we do constant long and running, you basically burn those calories during the cardio, but unless you're getting your heart rate up and down by sprinting and stopping and sprinting and stopping, it's doing nothing for your resting metabolism. It's burning the calories during the workout, and then it just kind of decreases to wherever your resting metabolism is after. If, again, you're doing a lot of cardio and you're dancing a lot, running a lot, you're breaking down the muscle tissue as your body needs calories to be effective, but without rebuilding it with toning exercises and strength training, again, it's tearing down your resting metabolism. The more muscle mass you have, the higher your metabolism, burning calories.
Yep.
And so you don't have to do big weights for that. I actually believe in working the muscle more effectively than using big weights, although I like throwing them in once in a while, but I like resistance bands, gliders, light weights, anything that helps you to work the muscle concentrically and then again, eccentrically, so that on the way down, while you're lengthening the muscle, you're working it as well. And that creates a lot of muscle mass, but it's lean, long, beautiful muscle mass, which reminds me again of my ballet days and kind of like the figure that I like so much. And I think it's also more functional. So it makes you feel better.
Okay. And then how were you able to take all your fitness success and then morph that into your product line? So I started teaching ballet when I was 16, yoga when I was 19 or so, when I went off to college after ballet, and added on so many other certifications after that. So I've been teaching for almost 17 years, talking with women of all ages, 60s, 70s to 16-year-olds. And a lot of my clients, too, I saw go through pregnancy. And that was a time, this was like 6 years ago maybe now, that was a time where
There wasn't any body care out there. Women were just in social media, even just starting to see and be aware of their bodies more. Fitness started really growing in the sense that finally Chanel is producing tennis shoes to wear. Like, this was the time. But we were all complaining about the same things, you know? I mean, the stretch marks, the cellulite, just skin tone was different than what it was on our face. And I have always worked in beauty along with skincare. I was a national trainer for Sephora. I traveled all over the world with microcurrent companies. I worked with all the plastic surgeons in Beverly Hills before. So I've had this dual life, and it seemed I was just on the search for something and I couldn't find it. So I crazily created it.
I love it.
Which became Kayo, yeah.
And that means, I looked it up, in Japanese, it means beautiful generation.
It does. It means that. And it also is a play on knockout. So I loved that it was both.
Okay.
So knockout being fitness, knockout body, knockout skincare. But then I loved that it was a play on such a beautiful language and a beautiful generation of people out there, you know, showing their beauty.
What is your favorite Kayo product?
I cannot live without our Body Beautiful cream.
Okay.
I love everything, and I use everything every day pretty much. But I think the Body Beautiful cream, it has our omega blend in it, tons of hyaluronic acid, CoQ10, tons of antioxidants. And it's just one of those things where you notice immediately, like, the short-term hydration, it's changed my skin. And it's changed everybody's skin. I mean, the reviews online, you can see the smell is really, you know, nice and kind of goes with any fragrance, but.
Oh, you must feel so proud to read that.
It's like a baby. Yes,
right?
yes,
And
you
like,
do.
I did something that's really making a difference.
Yeah.
Making women feel better in their own skin.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. You know, that was one of the things, is that even around Los Angeles, there'd be women that were in the best shape, but they were embarrassed to wear shorts because of changes in their skin. And so it's so unfair when you put so much work into your diet and your fitness, and there wasn't anything available to assist in body care at that point. So we created like the first face grade body care.
Love it. Okay. Now we're going to get to some fun tips for the audience. Okay. So what are your 3 favorite moves for a better booty? Because this is actually for me.
Okay. I love it. Yeah, I think bridges, you know, where you lay on your back and put your knees up. Simple little bridges are one of the best things. The focus you want to make sure is that you're slightly tucking your tailbone under, so that it's your butt doing the work and you're not sitting in your low back, and you don't push up too high, which again goes into your back and your hamstring more than a really happy. It's like right before I think your thighs or your quadriceps and your stomach are aligned.
So your feet are on the ground?
Yeah, feet are on the ground, and
you're
lifting your hips. Knees bent, and you can do that all kinds of ways. You can take your knees together, knees apart in a butterfly position, so you can hit different areas of the buttocks. And then I love just simple leg lifts. I think whether you do them with a resistance band, you can do them on all 4, so on your knees and on your hands. And whether you take a resistance band that you're pressing back, you have a little ankle weight for added resistance. You can hit it from all different directions, whether you're doing it to the side, at an angle turned out, in an attitude, straight back, using the inner thigh to take it across the body, you know, and up and around to the other corner. You can hit literally the whole smile line of the buttocks. And then I do like squats. I think to do them properly, though, I wouldn't say like that squat challenge made no sense to me. I was like, your poor hips, you know, everybody's poor hips and quadriceps were expanding because of the way that people do a lot of squats. So you really want to make sure, if you don't want to hit the meaty part of your quadriceps and you want to work the glutes most effectively, that your knees stay back as far as possible and don't go too low. So if that means your knees come forward and because you're going down, just continue to work on that mobility, because then the pressure is back in the butt. Otherwise, the pressure is up through the knees and up into the quadriceps, which is why people say they're getting bulky. Well, they probably are, because you're working them a lot more.
Yeah.
And there's a different way to work the thigh muscles to make them not bulky.
And one of the things that I saw, you did a couple series with Brooke Burke, and I saved one of the videos, and you talked about how to do a foam roller prior to a workout because that helps. And I've been doing it, but I didn't know I was
I love
doing
when
it.
people remind me of tips. Yes.
Why is that?
Yeah, so neurologically, it's kind of like when we're saying to our brain and we're doing a bridge lift, okay, I need just my glute to work instead of my hamstring so much here. You're like, you have to think about it. And you know how you see people say all the time, like, put your hand on it. And that way, because that's what creates the connection from your brain to the area of the muscle or starts to. It's the same thing in the sense of foam rolling, only foam rolling the area that you want to work. So just the glutes, when you really want to focus on the glutes, starts to get the neurological connection going in the glutes so that you're more prone for those muscles, more of the muscles to fire in the area.
Love it. And then one final question.
Yes.
For supplements, do you think that they're necessary for fitness?
I do. I think supplements are necessary for anti-aging and beauty nowadays, and fitness. Our foods and our soils and our air and our water don't have the nutrients that it once had, so we're not getting the minerals and the vitamins from the foods. And our digestive systems seem to be much worse, so we're not breaking down the foods properly. There's a lot going on, and I love the fact that if we could get all of the supplements that we could from food, I'm a true believer. And if you can, then you're a miracle.
Then you're a rock star.
Yes, totally. But I think that supplements are completely necessary in order to be preventative and reparative in today's day and age.
Good to know. And then, look in here. If you could define the legacy you want to if you could define the legacy you want to leave behind in a couple of words, what would it be?
Such a great question. I think the one thing that I would want to pass along is just my light, and in my light in the sense of just hope. So I just want to send hope to people out there that they can accomplish anything that they want to, that they can feel healthy every day, that they can feel happy every day, and, be able to provide that same light to the world as well.
You have been a light here.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thanks for having me.
Go follow her on social media. Go follow her stuff on YouTube. Your body will thank you.